So I was going to do a booktuber's newbie tag. However, I realized a lot of the questions that were asked I was going to answer, or a lot of the points I was going to be talking about anyway, as well as I felt a little rushed answering those questions. So I'm just going to kind of freestyle it and to give a lot more details about why I'm changing my channel to being a booktuber, just basically being on BookTube, and why I'm changing from reviewing films to now going to be talking more and reviewing books. So my number one reason for it is because I love film. I really do. I still have such a passion for films, but I've noticed that a lot of the films and movies are adapted by or from books. So their origins are from books. And growing up, I read all the time. I read so much, I actually got detention for classes in this one class, probably middle school, because I was reading too much. So they gave me detention, which I love because then I just read more in detention. I was in book clubs growing up. In, I believe, third grade, I remember it was third grade, I read White Fang. Let's see, I can't remember who it's from because I read that so long ago, but I read the book White Fang, and my third grade teacher basically called me a liar, saying you didn't read that. But then I was able to tell her what the book was about, and she's like, okay, you did read it. That's bizarre, because I guess it's definitely above a third grader's reading level. But I just want to talk about books I've read, books that have inspired me as a kid. So White Fang by Jack London was one of the first ones I remember, especially because of that issue of being called a liar for reading it. Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White, Stuart Little by E.B. White, Night of the Twisters by Ivy Ruckman, the entire Chronicles of Narnia. I want to reread those because I don't quite remember them, but Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe and Prince of Caspian, I remember those two the most. But I read the whole trilogy of Chronicles of Narnia. Nancy Drew books, that whole series, read those all the time. Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Nair, Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Browse. And that's where I realized that, yes, the movies are sad, but the books, what is that? The Never-Ending Story? Artax's death is so much sadder because it's the point of view of Artax, the horse, drowning in the sea of sadness. Like, it's so sad. But that's what I love about books. You get these details that, even though it's really sad in the movie, you get that you would never hear the horse's point of view from that. A Child Called It, I began reading, I believe, in college, and to this day, I love Dave Pelzer and what he went through, and just being brave enough to talk about it in a series of books. So A Child Called It, The Lost Boy by Dave Pelzer, and A Man Named Dave by Dave Pelzer, and The Privilege of Youth as well by Dave Pelzer. I've read all his books. So again, more as an adult, I've read books such as Speak by Lori Halls Anderson, and that intrigued me to go reading Winter Girls by Lori Halls Anderson. And I also read Unbearable Lightness by Portia de Rossi, and I was going through the issues. I'm just going to keep this vague. I was going through the issues those books talk about, and Portia de Rossi's book actually helped me a lot, because at the very back, I believe Ellen DeGeneres, her partner, told her, do the things that make you uncomfortable, and the issues those books tackle is exactly what I was going through. And the thing that made you uncomfortable was to be normal per se. So I started challenging myself, and I'm happy to say I think I've recovered from the issues that are from those books. And then I've also read, obviously, actually I'll talk about this last because I have some of the newer books. I went and splurged and bought new versions of these books. I'll talk about them last. Also, I read The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings series when I was younger, and I want to do those on this channel as a reread because I have not reread that. And then Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. Yeah, The Shining and Dr. Sleep. And The Shining will be the next one I actually read. I did a poll, and so far it's winning in the polls. So it's up against The Shining, Needful Things, and then starting the Dark Tower series. And so far, The Shining is in the win, even though that would be a reread for me. But I'm excited to reread it. And right now on this channel, I'm starting with Stephen King. I'll go ahead and link the playlist of my book so far. And so far already, I've read It by Stephen King as well as The Long Walk by Stephen King, which were both new reads for me, and I'm so proud of myself to read it, and it's really sparked my love for books all over again. I'm so excited to be reading Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. I remember reading that one. I love that one. Delicate Condition by Danielle Rollins, and then Born Free, Living Free, and Forever Free, the story of the lion that was adopted. I've read those and I absolutely love those. I know I've read a lot more, but that's like my basis. If you saw the books that are on my shelf, I have a lot of those as well. I have the whole Born Free trilogy. I have a couple copies as well. I also read a lot of presidential books as well, but those are like, I read them and I don't remember them, so I may reread some of those as well. But obviously I'm starting Stephen King as well. Now, books that I want to read. I've watched a lot of booktubers, so again, I'm going down this whole Stephen King journey, and I want to read the books that don't have anything right now. Well, all of them have something to do with the multiverse. There's the multiverse in Stephen King's books, and I've heard it all starts with the Dark Tower series. But I also have books that aren't part of the Dark Tower series, such as It, which I read, The Shining, which will be my next read, Needful Things, and then of course the Dark Tower series, and that's why I want to start that one. But I want to read the two that aren't part of the Dark Tower series, because that's going to be a long series. Even though the first book's so small, it's a pretty big series altogether. But I want to read as much Stephen King as I can. Insomnia is going to be the next one I want to buy. I don't have that book right now, but I do want to buy it eventually. Never Flinch, his newest one. Cujo, Misery. I had Pet Sematary, but I stupidly sold it. And I will go ahead and talk about my all-time favorite series, and then I'll talk about my all-time favorite book that I do not have the actual physical copy of, and I really need to go get it because I've sold it at my antique booth, and I'm kicking myself so much. When I saw it sold, I was like, no, I should not have put that out because I love that book to pieces. But obviously, favorite series, I didn't mention it, Harry Potter. Obviously, I have read the Harry Potter series entirely. I started books 1 through 4 before I even saw any of the movies. And then I obviously finished it. I've reread it several times. I haven't reread it as an adult. I've attempted, but then I just stopped. But that's the one I want to reread. The big series I want to reread as well. And oh my gosh, I splurged today, so I have the big hardback copies, but I think I'm going to gift those to my niece because she's really getting into Harry Potter, which makes me so happy. And I hope my daughter gets into Harry Potter as well when she gets older. But I splurged and I got a new set. Right now I just have the first 3, the Harry Potter series. And the reason I got them, look at that. Look at the binding on them. They are so pretty. There's a whole thing about like, oh, booktubers just always have to go buy the newest and most updated. Yeah, look at them. I love paperback too. The big hard copies are taking up so much room on the shelving. I don't have a bookshelf right now. I just have that piano where I display them. I love to display the books too. And I like to lay on them and cuddle them. I'm weird. I absolutely books were my first love. They just happened to turn everything into movies, which became my second love, because it's the patronus of the deer. And talking about deers and movies, because I'm not going to give up on movies. I actually went and saw the Bambi the Reckoning movie, which is part of the dark universe of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey and all that. But look how cute that is. It's so pretty. That's for Prisoner of Azkaban. But we saw Bambi the Reckoning, and I'm obsessed with deers right now and bunnies because I just see Bambi and Thumper everywhere. And I definitely would have fell for Thumper. I would have been like, look at you. And then he turns all evil. It sounds like a stupid concept, but I really like that movie. I'm not going to do a full review, but I actually recommend people go see it. I thought it was pretty good. A lot better than the Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I can't speak on the Peter Pan because I never read it. And speaking of Peter Pan, the book I want to read is called Never by, I believe, Jessa Hastings. It could be Tessa Hastings. I don't know. But that one is kind of Peter Pan-ish, so I kind of want to read that. How pretty those are. Tell me those aren't beautiful. Tell me. Look at them. Look at them and tell me what you think. They're gorgeous. I love them. I just realized I never talked about my all-time favorite book, and that is actually by Joe Hill again. And it is Horns by Joe Hill, and there is a movie out about it. And I've read the book before the movie, and there is a Harry Potter reference in the book. I love that book, but then I didn't think I was like gonna read anymore, I guess, and I just put a lot of books. I put all those books too out on sale, but when Horns actually sold, I was like, give me my books back. Like, no. And I need to go get it again, but I need the copy with Daniel Radcliffe stars in the movie, which again is Harry Potter. Infused, and there's a scene I knew that he was going to be starring in it. Like, now I don't look at casting or anything beforehand, like The Long Walk, so I can let my imagination run. But I knew Daniel Radcliffe was going to be starring in Horn, so obviously I imagined him as Ig Parrish. And Joe Hill and Stephen King's writings are very similar, because I was reading I was reading Dr. Sleep at the same time I was reading Horns, and I was like, y'all write very similarly. It feels like I just read the same scenes in both these books, which was interesting. I love them both. I think I like Dr. Sleep more than The Shining, but again, that's why I'm going to be doing The Shining reread. But Horns is just an absolutely perfect book. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite all-time book. My introduction to BookTube. If you guys have any questions or any book recommendations, please comment down below. Again, for now, I'm going to do the Stephen King challenge and try to read as many of them as possible and connect the multiverse as much as possible. I also want to do journaling because I don't believe in writing in the books. Look at these. They're so gorgeous. I'm not going to write in them and ruin them, but I do want to do journaling, and I've already started that with the Stephen King stuff, but like a cute journal of all the quotes and everything I like. And right now I'm reading The Pram by Joe Hill. My infamous joke, he's the son of Stephen King. Why doesn't he go by the last name King? Because then it'd be Joe King. I tell that every single time. That's the last time. Well, maybe not the last time, because I'm going to do a review on The Pram by Joe Hill, so I'll probably say it there too. But I'm reading that one on Kindle. One thing about me, BookTube wise, is I cannot stand audiobooks. I fall asleep way too much and too early. But I do want to try to challenge myself to do like 24-hour challenges or how many pages to read in a day. I don't know how well I'll do at challenges, but I do want to challenge myself and just read more. Like going into reading The Long Walk and finishing it already. Technically, if I can get The Pram finished tonight, I would have read 3 books. like completed 3 books in 1 month. That's kind of crazy, but it took me 3 months to read it. I just finished it July 11th, finished The Long Walk on the 26th, and then may be able to finish The Pram on the 31st. I don't know. But regardless, I'm excited just to be reading again. I feel a whole new energeticness because with filming, I've just been feeling kind of, instead of a book slump, a reading slump, it's just been a film slump. I feel like it's the same stuff every single time. So this is definitely more exciting for me. So let me know if you guys like this video. Comment down below what books you think I should read, what are your suggestions, what do you want to see on the channel book wise, and please subscribe because there's definitely a lot more to come. Thanks. Bye.